I'm Sam Droscher. I'm the class president, and this is the 2015 Wax Museum.
Hello, my name is Samuel Daggett, and me and my wife Anna lived on a farm in a town of Converty, Connecticut. It was made up of farms scattered across the countryside. Many people in the community were from families who had come from Massachusetts. I played an important role in many New England communities. People from Converty, together with people of the neighbor towns of Herborn and Lebanon, attended the First Continental Church of Advor, and I was an illustrator from the late 1700s.
Hi, I am Paul Revere. I was born on January 1st, 1735. I was in a group called the Sons of Liberty, and we led the Boston Tea Party by dumping thousands of pounds of tea off a British ship. We were angry and wanted to show Parliament and King George that we would not accept this unfair taxation without representation. I was best known for my midnight ride on April 18, 1775, when I rode from Boston to Lexington to warn the Minutemen that the British were coming.
Hi, my name is George Washington. I'm known as the father of this country. I grew up on a tobacco farm in Virginia. I was a general in the French and Indian War. I beat the British and I helped the Patriots. I helped the Patriots beat the British and get their freedom from the king. If you find a $1 bill like this one, you would find my face on it. I was married to Martha and died when I was 67 years old.
Hi, I'm Thomas Jefferson, and I did many amazing things. I'm mostly known for being the third president of the United States, but I also wrote the Declaration of Independence. I also helped many colonists gain freedom from British rule. As well as that, I purchased Louisiana Territory, which includes the states on the map. I also was an inventor. I invented the polygraph, which lets you write 2 letters at once, and the dumbwaiter.
Good morrow. My name is George Washington. I lived from February 22nd, 1732 to December 14th, 1799. I was the first president of the United States of America. I was married to Martha Custis, but I had no kids with her.
Hi, my name is Thomas Jefferson, the third United States president. I was born April 13, 1743 in Albemarle County, Virginia, into a family with 3 brothers and 6 sisters. I was an American founding father and had the privilege to sign the Declaration of Independence. Sadly, I died July 4th, 1825, and for all the good things I've done, I have been put on Mount Rushmore.
Hello, my name is Theodore Roosevelt. I was the 26th President of the United States of America. I was born in 1858 in New York City. As a youth, I was homeschooled due to chronic illness. I then graduated from Harvard in 1880. My occupations were governor, military leader, U.S. President, and more. I then sadly died in my sleep in 1919. But don't forget, the teddy bear is named after me.
I'm Abraham Lincoln. I was born in Ogdenville, Kentucky on February 12, 1809. I'm the 16th president. I led our country through our bloodiest war, the Civil War, which was between the North and the South. That war was 4 years long and the North won. In 1863, during the Civil War, I gave my and America's most known speech, the Gettysburg Address. I was assassinated in 1865 at age 56.
First sculpted onto Mount Rushmore by Guthrum Borglum in 1941.
He chose 4 presidents that changed America for the better.
Mount Rushmore is located in the Black Hills region of South Dakota.
Approximately 1 million people visit Mount Rushmore every year.
Hello there. So I hear you've come to hear about my journey in my life. Well, first you have to know, I'm Laura Ingalls Wilder. I grew up with 4 siblings and I was born near Pepin, Wisconsin. As a girl, I traveled a lot, and as a family, we had to haul our belongings in a wagon. We were all prepared for the long haul, especially Mom and Pa. At De Smet, South Dakota, I got a teaching degree, taught for 1 year, and met Almanzo Wilder. Almanzo and I married and had a girl named Rose. As the years shifted, Rose encouraged me to write my best-selling series, The Little House on the Prairie. In 1943, I started the last book in the Little House series, but did not finish it. I died in 1957. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Annie Oakley, famous sharpshooter, cowgirl, and all-around tomboy. As a child, I grew up in a small wood cabin with my mom and 6 siblings. My brother and I used to go rabbit hunting together, which is what started my love for sharpshooting. I was the first girl to be in the sharpshooting Wild West show, Buffalo Bills. I met my husband Frank by competing against him in a shootout. I not only won the shootout by a single shot, but I also won his heart that day. Frank and I became shooting partners after that. Sadly, Annie Oakley died in 1926. These words of mine outlived me though. Aim at a high mark and you will hit it. No, not the first time, not the second, and maybe not the third. But keep on aiming and keep on shooting, for only practice will make you perfect. Finally, you hit the bullseye of success.
Hello, my name is Benjamin Franklin. I was born January 17, 1706, in Boston, Massachusetts. I am one of the founding fathers and the only one that signed all 4 key documents. My picture has been on the $100 bill ever since 1928. On June 10, 1752, I discovered electricity with my kite. I was almost killed twice during experiments. I remain one of the most important figures in American history.
Hi, I'm Edwin Vinny.
Hi, I'm Steve Harris-Smith.
And we are the inventors of Crayola. I was born in New York in 1865. My father owned a chemical company. Smith and I took over the chemical company and we called it Crayola's Crayons. My wife Ella was a teacher and she made the French words combination. Smith and I realized that kids needed a safe and affordable way to use crayons. The crayons that kids were using were toxic. Smith and I made the first non-toxic box of crayons. Sadly, I died at the age 68 in 1934.
I was born in London, England in 1860 and I moved to New Zealand as a teenager. Then I moved to New York. That is when me and my cousin took over a company from Edmund Binney's father and called it Binney & Smith. We toured schools and realized the schools needed coloring crayons that were affordable and safe. We produced our first 8-pack of crayons in 1903. The colors were green, black, blue, brown, orange, red, and purple, and yellow, and sold for 5 cents a box. The name Crayola came from Edmund Binney's wife, a school teacher, and used a combination of French words. Our crayons were a huge success. Sadly, I died in 1931 at age 71. Done. I'm done.
I'm Orville Wright. I'm the one that built the first working airplane with my brother, Wilbur Wright. That is what I am famous for. I'm also famous for building technology for the U.S. Army. I also filled out contracts to sell planes for England and the U.S. That I still died like every other person.
I was born on April 16, 1867. I died at May 30, 1912. Me and my brother were the first to successfully make an airplane and make the first controlled airplane too. Me and my brother breakthrough was our invention, the 3-way axe, which enabled the pilot to steer the aircraft effectively and to maintain its balance. Me and my brother worked at a printer shop. We also used this homemade built wind tunnel, which let us collect data to build wings. And I know there's more facts, but that I'm running out of time, and thank you for your time.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Rosa Parks, and as a civil rights activist, I support people for doing the right thing. I was born on February 4th, 1913 in Tuskegee, as you can see right here. I was a slave when I was a little girl, unfortunately. Then I got taken by the National Association for Advancement of Colored People. They ended segregation. That is determining where you go to school or even sit on a bus by the color of your skin. When I grew up, I went to the College of Alabama State, and one day when I was coming home, a man told me that I had to get off the bus because I was black and there was a white person coming on. I said no, and I stood up for my rights. They threatened to call the police, but I still stayed. That is what I am famous for today.
Hello, my name is Albert Einstein. I was born in Germany in 1879 and was a quiet child who did not speak until age 4. At age 16, I fluently spoke both Latin and Greek and was a great violin player. In 1903, when I was 24, I married Olivia Marek. Married her for 16 years. During that 16 years, I had 3 children, one daughter and 2 sons. In 1919, we divorced. Also in 1919, I married Elsa Einstein. But before I jump ahead of myself, let me go back to 1905. This was the year that I developed my theory of relativity, which was the basis used to develop nuclear power. Then in 1921, I won the Nobel Prize for the theory. In 1935, I moved to Princeton, New Jersey, and lived there for 20 years until I died in 1955 at age 76.
Hello, my name is Helen Keller. I was born on March 27th, 1880 in Tuscumbia, Alabama, right there. In 1882, I was struck by an illness which caused me to become blind, deaf, and mute. In March 1887, Ann Sullivan came to my home in Alabama. She went to work right away. She taught me many words, including my first word, doll. During my lifetime, I achieved many accomplishments.
Hi, I'm Mike Collins, the pilot of command module in Apollo 11. I was born in Italy on October 31st, 1930. I was the 3rd crew member on Apollo 11. I was the first astronaut to do 2 EVAs, which means to go outside of the spaceship. And I was the farthest man from Earth when I was circling the moon, waiting for Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. I was on Gemini 10 too. As an astronaut, I spent 11 days, 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 43 seconds in space.
Hello, my name is Walter Elias Disney, and I was born in Chicago, Illinois on December 1st, 1901. As a child, I had an interest in movies and drawing. As an adult, I became a cartoonist, filmmaker, and producer. On October 16th, 1923, at the age of 22, I founded the Walt Disney Company with my brother Roy. In 1928, I created Steamboat Willie, where the iconic Mickey Mouse character premiered. It was the first cartoon with synchronized sound. Then in 1937, Disney Studios created Snow White, which was the first full-length animated film. Lastly, in 1955, Disneyland California opened to the delight of children and their families.
Hi, my name is Helen Keller. I was born on June 27, 1880 in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Scarlet fever left me unable to see, hear, or speak. I was a bright, spoiled child. In 1887, Ann Sullivan and I began learning. I had to learn to spell words with my hands. In 1902, I became a public speaker and author. In 1920, Ann Sullivan and I formed a funny act which was performed on the vaudeville circuit to educate people and to earn money. I had attended Radcliffe College. At age 25, I was able to speak in a whisper. Sadly, I died on June 1st, 1968. I left my mark on the world by changing people's minds about the disabled.
Hi, my name is Charles Lindbergh. I was born in 1902 in Detroit, Michigan. I went to the University of Wisconsin to study engineering. In 1927, I became the first person to fly across the Atlantic from New York to Paris, France. In 1929, I married Anne Moreau Lindbergh. Tragedy hit when our first child, at just 20 months old, was kidnapped and later found dead. I continued to make important contributions to aviation before I lost my battle with cancer in 1972.
Hi, my name is Edward Einstein. I was born in Germany, March 14th, 1879. I was a shy boy. I got kicked out of my elementary school for asking too many questions. All they wanted me to do was memorize. But still I went to college. There's where I met my love. I got married and had 2 sons. I was one of the greatest scientists in the world. Because of that, I won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1922. Sadly, I died April 17, 1955, at the age of 76. There's only 2 ways to live a life. One as everything is a miracle, the other as nothing is a miracle at all. Did you know E equals MC is E, energy, M, mass, and C, the speed of light? Is an equation that Albert Einstein made for us this serum. And I'm done.
Hi, my name is Amelia Earhart. I was born on July 24th, 1897 in Atchison, Kansas. I took my first flying lesson on January 3rd, 1921. 6 months later, I bought my first plane. It was bright yellow and I named it the Canary. I was the first woman to fly over the Atlantic Ocean and also the first woman to fly solo over the Pacific Ocean on July 2nd. I left for my trip to be the first woman navigator to fly around the world. Due to bad weather and clouds, my crew and my plane disappeared, never to be found or heard from again. Still to this day, my crew and my plane have never been located. Although I have disappeared, I hope that I've set a path for all future women navigators.
Hello, my name is Malcolm X. I was born May 19, 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska. I am one of the most influential African Americans in history. I was a minister and national spokesman for the Nation of Islam, also known as the NOI. Controversy followed me because I promoted black supremacy, advocated separation of black and white Americans, and rejected the civil rights movement's emphasis on interrogation. Later, after separating from the NOI, I went on a pilgrimage to Mecca and adopted a new belief where I could call blonde-haired, blue-eyed men my brothers. A year after leaving the nation, I was assassinated by 3 of its members in front of my pregnant wife and 4 daughters.
Hi, my name is Rosa Parks. I'm a 92-year-old woman that's an African-American civil rights activist. On December 1st of 1995, I was to be arrested because on the bus, I decided to sit in the front, not in the back where I belong. Then the bus driver said to get in the back, but I refused to get in the back. Then, sadly, on October 24th of 2005, I usually died of an illness I had. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hello, my name is Garen Bluford. I was born November 22nd, 1942 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Growing up, I had an interest in things that fly. After I graduated from Overbrook High School, I received a BS in Aerospace Engineering in 1964. I received an MS in 1974 and a PhD in 1978. That year, I applied for the NASA astronaut program. I worked as an astronaut at the Johnson Space Flight Center. I became the first black American in space when the spacecraft Challenger launched. I completed 688 hours in space.
Hi, I'm Shirley Temple. I was born April 23rd, 1928. When I was younger, I was an American film actress, singer, dancer, and a public servant. I began my career at the age of 3 and found my fame in Bright Eyes, a film designed specifically for me. As I grew, I was in many films. I even received a Juvenile Academy Award. As an adult, I entered politics and became a U.S. ambassador to Ghana and later to Czechoslovakia. After that, I became the first woman chief of protocol of the United States. Sadly, I died age 85 from COPD, February 10th, 2014.
Hello, my name is Neil Armstrong. I was born on August 5th, 1930. I grew up with two younger siblings. I served in the United States Navy where I flew 78 missions in the Korean War, and I had 3 kids. In 1969, I flew my last flight as mission commander of the Apollo 11 moon landing. I was the first man to step foot on the moon. I died August 25th, 2012 at the age of 82.
Hello, my name is Buzz Aldrin, or at least now it is. It used to be Edwin Aldrin until 1988 when I legally changed it to Buzz, an old nickname. You may know me for being the second man to walk on the moon. I've been on 2 space missions, the Gemini 12 and the better known Apollo 11 with my friend Neil Armstrong, John Glenn, and Michael Collins.
Hi, I'm Neil Armstrong. I was the first man to walk on the moon July 20th, 1969. I was born August 5th, 1930 in Wapakoneta, Ohio. I learned to fly when I was 15 years old, even before I learned how to drive. I was the mission commander on the Gemini 8. I took the Apollo 11 to the moon. Sadly, I died August 25th, 2012 due to heart complications. I was 82 years old.
Hello, my name is Steve Jobs. I am most well known for starting the Apple Computer Company. I always loved electronics, and today I would like to tell you some facts about my journey. In spring 1976, I started to assemble the Apple I computer in my garage. By 1978, the Apple II computer became the first mass-marketed computer. Apple became a symbol for personal computers. Since 1976, Apple has become a multi-billion-dollar company. Almost every household has something Apple. Do you have an Apple product?